Alright guys, welcome to another video. So we're actually having problems with the Z. It doesn't want to turn on, but let me just show you what's going on. First attempt. Second attempt. Now I'm gonna try to give it some gas. Alright, so it's starting to smell like gas, so we're gonna fix the problem. Alright guys, so before we dialed on what was wrong with the Z, why it didn't want to start, we actually changed a couple of parts. The first part was a PTU. So what the PTU does is when you put your car in the on position, the power goes to the PTU. That way the PTU sends power to the ignition coils, and that's how you get spark. We swapped it out for a new one. We thought that was the issue. We tried to start the car. It wasn't like nothing happened. The same symptom was happening. So our next thing we were checking was fuel pressure. So we bought a new fuel filter. We swapped it out, and the fuel filter was in really bad condition because when we took it out, there was a lot of black stuff inside the gasoline that came out of the fuel filter, and it was kind of gunky and gross. So that's why we swapped it out. So we swapped out for a new fuel filter. Turned the car on. Same symptom happened. So all we could think of, well, maybe it wasn't the fuel filter, maybe the fuel pump regulator was bad or something, or the relay was bad. So we bought a new relay for like $15, swapped it out. The car actually turned on for like a couple seconds, then it bogged out and it died. So at this point we're like, we don't know what else to do. So our last prediction was to swap out the fuel pump. So that's what we did. We swapped out the fuel pump, and I'm gonna show you guys how we did it.
Alright, so to gain access to the fuel pump on a 2+2 model, you're going to have to take out your spare tire, and you're going to see a cover that's attached with 4 screws. You can go ahead and remove those screws. You can remove it with a screwdriver. Then you have access to your fuel pump. If you have a 2-seater model, your fuel pump is going to be behind your driver's side, and you're going to have to take out some plastic trims just to get to it. Alright, so what I like to do is put electrical tape around my pliers, that way I don't rip the hoses, then get a flathead and start prying out the hoses. I'm just going to say it now, but there was a lot of gas spilling because we actually filled up the gas tank for the week to go to work, and yeah, that's why you guys see a lot of gas spilling out, because the gas was really, it was full, so it made it a little bit more difficult to take out the fuel pump. Alright, so once you guys disconnect your guys' sensor, all you guys need to do is remove the screws from the fuel pump. It's a little bit tricky, but you guys can do it. On some screws, you guys can actually use a Phillips head screwdriver, or it's more easier if you guys have a 8mm wrench that you guys can wind and unwind. It's going to make it easier for you to remove the fuel pump. Like I said, you guys can get some screws with the screwdriver, but the ones that are really tucked in on top, those are the most difficult screws that you guys are going to have to get. But once you guys get everything out, you unplug the sensor, you guys took out the hoses and the screws, you can just lift the fuel pump up and remove it. But when you guys remove the fuel pump, just be gentle with it, give it a couple turns. Don't try to force it and yank it off because you're gonna break it. But yeah, just finesse it out and you guys can get the fuel pump out. So the next thing you guys want to do is take out the side clips of the fuel pump. Just be careful with them because you guys don't want to break it. Then remove 8mm bolts that hold on to the fuel pump. They're really easy to get to. After that, get some pliers and pry out the fuel pump. There's some clamps that you need to get out. Also, there's a metal rod inside those clamps, so make sure you guys slide that metal rod back inside, because that gives the fuel pump a nice smooth run. After that, just remove the positive and negative cables, and you guys can start swapping out the fuel pump. Just make sure when you guys connect it that you guys connect it back the same way. Just a reminder, when you guys are putting on your fuel pump back, there's a stamp on every fuel pump that shows positive and negative. Make sure you guys don't get those mixed up. You don't want the cables going on the wrong spot and then putting your fuel pump back onto the car, try to start it, and then nothing happens, then you have to disconnect it and stuff like that. So make sure you guys pay attention to the step and make sure your cables are on nice and tight. Once everything is good to go, then you can slap the fuel pump back inside your car. Putting the fuel pump back is going to be really tough, but you guys can do it. Just, move it around, twist it around, and the fuel pump will line up and it'll actually go in. When you guys are putting back the fuel pump, make sure you guys are really careful with it. You guys don't want to break the strainer, or you guys don't want to break the hanger that tells you your fuel level on the fuel pump, because then it's going to be a big disaster and then you're going to have a bad reading on your fuel. So once you guys slide the fuel pump back inside, all you have to do is connect everything back. One of the things that I recommend when you guys are putting the hoses back is that first top hose that is on top of the fuel pump is the hardest hose that you guys can slide back on. What I like to do when I'm actually putting the fuel pump back, I like to put that hose in first, then the longer hose, and then I start bolting everything down. But yeah, that one hose that sits on top is really short and it's kind of hard to get your hand inside there. But if you guys do it first, where you actually put the fuel pump in, then you grab that smaller hose, attach it into your fuel pump, that makes it way easier. That way you have more clearance, and that way you're not actually like cutting your hand with the metal, trying to stick your hand in there. But it's pretty easy to do. It just takes time. But once you guys have the fuel pump in, you just have to connect all the screws. And also there's a gasket as well. Make sure you guys have that gasket on the fuel pump, because if you guys don't have that gasket, the fuel is actually going to spill out when you guys tighten it down. So make sure you guys have that ring gasket when you guys tighten down the fuel pump. Once everything's done, you can pretty much start the car up, and you can hear the car prime, and you're good from there.
Woo, she's running good. You can say the fuel pump is working. It sounds good too when you pass by. You can hear that exhaust pop. Alright guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you guys haven't followed me on social media, I'm going to leave everything on the description down below. So go ahead, follow me there, because I'm always doing daily updates on the 240 and the 300ZX. But I actually just got my flywheel today, and I got a bunch of other stuff that just came in the mail. I got my flywheel bolts, and I also have some new bolts that I can slap the transmission in on the engine. And yeah, dude, we're almost good to go. All I need is my short shifter, and we're dialed in. Put the car together and we can go sliding. Alright, so my website is live now at finallychurro.com, so you guys can go check it out. I actually have shirts made, I have backpacks, I have short knobs or whatever, shift knobs. I don't know why I say short knob, bro. What the hell's wrong? Anyways, bro, I don't know what's happening, but yeah, I got shift knobs, and then I have some quick release bumpers. But yeah, go ahead and swing by the website. I'm gonna leave the link on the description down below as well. Just show your boy some love. Let me know, give me some feedbacks, what I can do to improve the website. And like always, guys, I'll see you guys on the next video. Later, dudes.
I done lived and did and done and seen it, you feel me? Go get it, keep your head up, and just stay focused. Every time you see me, I am the freshest. Every time you see me, I come collect it. Cash out at the dealer, I swipe the debit. Cash out at the dealer, ain't need no credit.